It's real. So moving forward, eventually I left Bangkok. I was still having some troubles, but I was on this path, this deep truth, search for truth and peace and some stability in my life. And, already being vegetarian, meditating, doing Reiki, I thought, I'm still not finding it deep enough. And for whatever reason, like you today sitting in Lima, Peru, I took a one-way flight not directly from Bangkok. I made many stops on the way, but my destination was Lima. My destination was actually Cusco, as you mentioned, but for international flights coming into Lima.
Yeah.
And then from Lima, I took an overnight bus down to Cusco, joined a meditation course. After the course, I met a few people. And of course, everybody was into meditation already. A lot of us were already vegetarian or vegan. Yeah. And several people knew Reiki or they were interested in Reiki. And so suddenly I said, well, I've learned, I've been practicing. By that time, it had been, let's say, a year and a half. I'd known and been practicing some Reiki with myself and some friends.
Yeah.
And I started doing healing work with people. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Now I'm no longer working at university with my full-time job in Bangkok. I'm now just a freelance hippie, as it were, a middle-aged hippie, just traipsing through South America. And where the real experience came as a healer is that I lived in a village outside of Cusco. If I remember correctly, it was an hour by share taxi in a town called Urubamba, which is the name of the river that runs. Yeah. Urubamba is the river that runs through the Sacred Valley. And I ended up with, how should I say, like a house sitting gig there, where I looked after a man's house. We had 5 dogs and 2 or 3 cats. There was a cow on the property, 1 million honeybees. And I was sort of the caretaker of the cats and the dogs.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I need to do something with my time. I can't just sit here and pet the dogs all day. And I came across a couple of foundations. One was called Mosuk Luna, which translates as New Humanity in, I can't think of the language, Quechuan maybe. The local language of the indigenous people in that part of Peru. I think it's Quechuans.
Okay.
And so Mosa Guruna is that language, and a lot of indigenous people there throughout Peru, and especially in the Sacred Valley. And the woman who ran the place, a woman named Ada, I believe she was from Croatia. She had set up this children's home. So talk about a whirlwind of
random
things.
From Croatia, setting up with children's.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
And she set up this children's home. She had, let's say, 20, 25 children from 4 to about 16 or 17. And either they had no parents or they had abusive or alcoholic parents. They spoke Spanish and Spanish only. I spoke English and Thai. And in Spanish, I could say, ¿Cómo se dice? ¿Cómo se llama? ¿De dónde? That was about it. What is it? What do you call it? Where are you from? I knew like a dozen words in Spanish. Yet, when I gave Reiki to these kids, then I talked to Adish, and she luckily knew about Reiki, and she agreed that I could come, I don't remember now, once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And I would do two or three of the kids, and she would say, okay, Rodrigo has a lot of anger problems, and I think maybe Karen was the other girl's name. It's too long ago to remember all those names. But one by one, they started chilling out and relaxing. And it confirms it's not placebo. The kids have no idea what Reiki is, and I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But these kids just started chilling out. Sometimes there'd be an occasional tear coming down their eye. They'd fall asleep. They'd start having dreams. And one really cute girl, she was like 4 at the time. And I remember after the healing session, I made rainbows around her.
Okay.
When I mentioned the white cocoon around her, for this girl, I read red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, circles all around her.
Yeah.
as a protective. I could see she was a tormented young kid. No 4-year-old, nobody should have so much pain and suffering in their lives. So I brought all this color in as part of like the color of Reiki therapy. And when she awoke and Ada came in to help translate, and the first thing she says is, I had a dream. I was with my friends and we were flying through the stars and I saw this rainbow. And I thought, no way, no way. I'm sitting here imagining rainbows in English. And this little girl is visualizing them in her dreams in Spanish. Of course, this is just coincidence, everybody.
Totally,
right?
yes.
It's happened so many times. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of times. I don't mean the exact same scene. It's just, picking up what people are thinking or what they're feeling or knowing about a person's name. It's just this information comes. Like, I'm no psychic, I'm no mind reader, but suddenly I seem to be tapping into what other people are knowing or feeling or thinking. And so this led to a practice, hundreds of these kids. This went on for 4 or 5 months. So, do the math, how many healings I did. Eventually, I left Peru. I was feeling drained. Peru, I love Peru. It'd probably be my second choice of places to live, but it was draining me. And I thought, for cultural, socioeconomic reasons, I need to, and I needed a visa. So I thought, I'm going to head down to Bolivia for a while and then down to Argentina. It should be an easier going socio-cultural situation. And if you're familiar with all the different, you're familiar with the southern part of South America.
Yeah.
You leave Bolivia and you enter Argentina at, I don't know if that's Jujuy or Salta, somewhere in the northern border of Argentina with Bolivia.
Okay.
And you are entering a totally different world. I love them all, actually. Peru, Bolivia is amazing. Argentina is cool. Argentina? Did I say that? Argentina is cool, right? And it was just so much easier going, great big air-conditioned, comfy recliner seats on the bus. It's like, we're in Peru, you'd be, share taxi with 6 people, 2 chickens and a dog. And you get to Argentina and you're like,
but
wow,
also thinking, wait, that was 2004 or 5?
This would be 6.
Oh, 2006.
Yeah. I got to Peru the 2nd of August in 06, and then left there in early 07. Round about by the 10th of January in 07, I arrived in Argentina because it's several days travel.
Yeah.
I stayed a few places in Peru, several places in Bolivia before I hit Argentina early 07.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. That must have been a journey. Like the whole in South American traveling and sort of developing and exploring your Reiki within you, the whole energy. You were like, you start to believe and notice how it affects you and how it affects other people.